We all know Kinder Eggs are banned from the US as they're a choking hazard. But do you know that Americans consume plenty of products you'd never be able to get in the US because they include illegal and hazardous chemicals? Just wait until you see what kind of harmful products are actually FDA approved. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button to never miss another video. And don't forget to give us a big thumbs up. Let's explore 10 foods banned in other countries. Artificial dyes. The FDA has a weird relationship with artificial dyes that helps slightly less attractive food look more appealing to eat. Even though it has been reported that these dyes cause hyperactivity and are associated with allergy and cancer risks, the FDA still approves this food in the US. But did you know the EU doesn't share the same sentiments? Companies like M&M have to remove food dye from their candy if they want to sell it in the European countries. And it's not just candy. Food dyes like Yellow 5 and Yellow 6, both of which are known to produce bright yellow colors, have been removed from Kraft's orange macaroni and cheese dinner. So while the US still uses these food dyes in their food, they have to be removed and replaced with natural dyes when imported to Europe. These dyes can be found in anything from bright candy, breakfast cereals, to gelatin desserts and other colorful drinks. But why is the EU banning a product that's still commonly used in the US? The actual consumption of food dyes has increased by 500% in the past 50 years and brought plenty of health-related consequences. The studies of these dyes came back to have shown links to types of cancers and behavioral problems in children. Similar bans have also been considered in the US, but as of 2017, all measures have been rejected and food dye is still largely used. Salmon. More importantly, farm-raised salmon. Salmon is often associated with healthy food as it's high in omega-3 fatty acid, which comes with plenty of health benefits and is an essential element that supports well-being. You've probably heard that salmon also includes elements that are also known to decrease levels of depression and increase neurological functions in babies. But unless you catch the salmon yourself or know exactly where it came from, you might be consuming a food type that's actually illegal. Farm-raised salmon is banned in Australia and New Zealand, and for a good reason. Farm-raised animals, including salmon, are fed a completely different diet than salmon you might find in the wild. These fish are pumped with antibiotics and other unnatural substances that raise its calories and remove the natural and healthy elements you would otherwise get in wild salmon. They have exponentially high levels of POPs, also known as persistent organic pollutants, which are toxic chemicals that negatively affect a person's health and even the environment. POPs have also been associated with increasing risk of stroke in women. While Australia and New Zealand did enforce this ban, you can pretty much get farm-raised salmon everywhere else. Scotland, for instance, has reported a huge environmental problem with farm-raised salmon that are kept in a cage and are subject to sea lice. These lice only negatively contribute to the overall health of the salmon, and the problem seems to be only getting worse. GMO Foods. GMO, an acronym for genetically modified foods, have had a long history of health hazards and other questionable effects that might make a negative impact on human health. In 2015, more than half of Europe banned GMO foods, also known as genetically modified foods. This means GMO is not available in 28 European countries, including Germany and France. Environmental groups have previously already highlighted the negative effects of genetically modified foods, which include increased food allergies, toxicity, and even decreased nutritional value. Genetically modified foods are mainly used in agriculture, and they're there to preserve the crops in case of bad weather or any other circumstances that would result in bad produce. In order to keep the food growing at the same rate and always with the same results, farmers grow their fruits and vegetables with additives. High-risk GMO foods can include fruits, any type of animal products, and many vegetables. Although they're still largely available in the US and many other countries around the world, they are banned in most of Europe. One of the most popular and widely used GMO items across the US is corn. The product is used to produce many ingredients that are used in various foods and drinks, but it all originates from the same genetically modified crops that can have severe negative effects on human health. Rice Krispies. Did you know that Rice Krispies or any other cereals can't be sold with the same original ingredients in UK, Australia, New Zealand, Japan, and even some European countries? We're sure you've seen them on the shelves in some of those countries, but their ingredient lists had to be adjusted and the companies had to remove the preservatives known as BHT and BHA. Both are banned in those countries, although they're still largely used elsewhere. BHT and BHA preservatives are used to prevent oils in foods from oxidizing, which allows you to enjoy the taste of chips, cookies, and many other products that would otherwise require a preservative for their oils. These two chemicals can actually be found in a large list of products that are mostly consumed by children. Think include breakfast cereals, cookies, and sometimes even frozen food. Their use has been labeled as controversial after several conducted studies. It's been reported that even a low use of BHA can be toxic to cells and its development. Studies have also identified a risk of cancer and liver enlargement. However, it seems like the effects largely depend on each human, as some reports showed positive results when testing the levels of BHA. Regular consumption can result in rapid health and unpredicted behavior changes in humans. Because the preservatives were such a mystery, they were banned in the previously mentioned countries that now use safer alternatives. Tyson Chicken. You've probably guessed by now that the majority of food you consume on a regular basis is probably banned in other countries. We bet it can be quite scary discovering that your favorite cereal or even your favorite type of meat contain chemicals that can be dangerous to your health. Along with several other American food companies, Tyson Foods, the company behind the popular Tyson Chicken, is also on the list of banned items. Europe, Russia, Norway, and even Australia banned the import of Tyson Chicken. Sanderson Chicken and similar companies, after FDA approved, they have tested positive for an antibiotic remedy that is not approved in the poultry production. Sanderson Farms also produced positive results for residues of steroids, hormones, and anti-inflammatory drugs, which include ketamine. Tyson Foods were caught injecting chickens with gentamicin, a drug that can cause permanent hearing damage to humans. Many of the poultry grown in the U.S. contain several unlabeled drugs that can actually contribute to human weight gain and eliminate most health benefits we'd normally get from eating chicken. After public outcry, Tyson Foods announced they will phase out the antibiotics in their chickens by 2017, and their current statement says that the company completely stopped using antibiotics by September 2017. While they claim their poultry now only uses FDA-approved antibiotics, Tyson Chicken is still banned from many European countries and other places including Russia, Australia, and Canada. Bread with potassium bromide. Whenever we hear the word potassium, we immediately think of it as something healthy. Potassium found in bananas and coconut water can have a very positive effect on human health. But that's not the case for potassium bromide. This additive can be found in most commercial bread types and other baked goods. It keeps the dough more elastic and more presentable. But if there's one thing we're learning today, is that just because something looks more attractive on the outside, it doesn't mean it's good for you on the inside. That's exactly why commercial bread with potassium bromide is largely banned in Canada, China, and the EU. Although potassium bromide has been labeled as largely safe, it can be completely toxic to humans. When consumed, it can cause headaches, skin rashes, and several digestive issues. India has also banned the additive after studies discovered the chemical is also responsible for causing cancer. It's been reported that the mysterious additive can be found in 84% of 38 commonly available bread brands. For the exact same reason, Center for Science and Environment India proposed a ban on potassium iodate, a similar agent that's usually used as a flour treatment in bread. Both chemicals have been reported to be harmful for human health and are associated with cancer as well as thyroid-related issues. Are you consuming bread with any of these ingredients on the list? Foods with fat substitutes. Have you ever heard of Olestra? It's a fat substitute made to make snacks like fat-free potato chips appear much healthier than they actually are. Sounds ideal, right? What could possibly go wrong when you consume something that's been labeled as fat-free? Well, it turns out that this zero-calorie fat substitute comes with many side effects that will still negatively affect your health. Seems a bit counterproductive, doesn't it? This greedy chemical was approved back in January 1996, but since then it has caused plenty of harmful effects. While it removed unwanted fat from foods, it did prevent the body from absorbing essential vitamins needed for human health. Some of the side effects of consuming Olestra included cramps, gas, and loose bowels. You can still find Olestra in American products, but this fat substitute has been banned from Canada and Europe. So if you ever wonder why your zero-calorie chips are giving you cramps and disturbing your bowel movements, it could just be that it's because of Olestra. The additive is legal, and FDA even removed the Olestra label in 2003 after conducting that stomach-troubling effects are very mild and in most cases extremely rare. Even so, Europe and Canada are still keeping the additive away from their fat-free products. We'll let you be the judge of this one. Sports drinks with BBO. Sports drinks are known to be healthy, right? They come with added vitamins, added protein, and other elements that boost your health and performance. But in the US, 10% of sports drinks can contain an additive called BVO, also known as brominated vegetable oil. This corn or soybean oil is mixed with the toxic element of bromine, which has been largely banned in Japan and Europe. You can find it in drinks like Mountain Dew, Fanta Orange, and Gatorade Thirst Quencher Orange. BVO acts as an emulsifier, which prevents the flavoring and the attractive color from separating from the drink and floating to the surface. We're pretty sure it wouldn't make the drink look as appealing. While the FDA limits the amount of BVO to 15 parts per million beverages, the emulsifier has been completely banned in Europe and Japan. Bromine, the same chemical which can be found in bread, can also be found in many sports drinks. Absorbing bromine replaces your body's needs for iodine, which can cause a deficiency and an increased risk of breast cancer, thyroid gland, and ovary and prostate cancers. Bromine has also been found to accumulate in the central nervous system and breast milk. It's been known to cause a number of health problems since 1971, but somehow the strange additive is still largely used in many U.S. drinks. American milk. Europe also has a strange relationship with American milk. Although it makes sense to not import milk from the U.S. due to the product's shelf life, there's another reason why you might never see American milk products on European shelves. American milk products contain RBGH, a growth hormone which is injected in dairy cows to increase milk production. This hormone has been reportedly linked to cancer risks and increased levels of thyroid hormone enzyme. RBGH is also responsible for an increase in long-chain fatty acid levels which pose several cardiovascular risks. RBGH has also been associated with excess levels of natural insulin-like growth factor 1, which has been reported to increase breast cancer, colon cancer, and prostate cancer risks. Due to these concerns, the consumption of American milk has been banned in many countries, including Norway, Switzerland, Japan, New Zealand, Australia, and 29 European nations that opted out for a safer alternative. The FDA has been criticized for not publishing studies that clearly show the dangers of using RBGH in milk and continues to state that there is no significant difference between RBGH and non-RBGH milk. However, it has been reported that cows exposed to RBGH often show stress and infections to their udder, which means they also have to be infused by antibiotics, many of which are illegal in the U.S. What do you think? Should RBGH be banned in the U.S.? Meat with arsenic. And last but not least, Europe has also banned a substance that's largely used in plenty of American poultry. If you're still watching, you've probably discovered that the U.S. poultry isn't exactly raised to be the healthiest option for humans, and it can have many negative effects on human health. But while you're on the lookout for chemicals we mentioned earlier, you should also keep in mind a substance known as arsenic. While organic arsenic is an approved drug and the less toxic type, it can transform into inorganic arsenic, which can be found in elevated levels of supermarket stored chicken. Arsenic is largely used to burst blood vessels and make the chicken look pink and plump. This can have negative effects on the soil, which as a result affects the entire environment. But of course, long-term exposure can increase cancer risks and cause chromosome damage. So how come you can still find arsenic in the U.S. poultry? Unfortunately, it's because FDA thinks it's perfectly fine. While this drug-filled meat is banned in Europe, it's still largely available in the U.S., as the FDA declared the products are safe because of organic arsenic. Since then, the statement has been questioned by scientific reports, which have found plenty of traces of inorganic arsenic are actually associated with cancer risks we've mentioned earlier. So next time you buy any kind of poultry, make sure you avoid any toxic substances you might not even know you're consuming. And that's it for our video. For more videos like this one, check out 10 foods you'll never buy again after knowing how they are made. See you next time.